They say some places hold on to the past that the walls themselves remember. For Blackwood Asylum, perched on this hill like a forgotten tombstone, those words feel chillingly true. For decades, it's been a local ghost story, a place kids dared each other to enter. But I'm not a kid anymore. I'm a journalist, and I believe the stories buried here deserve to be told. The official records say Blackwood was a place of healing, but the whispers I've heard on the wind, the rumors that cling to this place like the ivy on its stone walls, they tell a different story. One of sorrow, of secrets, of souls who never left. Today, I'm going inside to find the truth. I don't know what I'll find in the darkness, but I know this. Blackwood's silence has gone on for long enough. It's time to make these walls talk. The air inside is thick, heavy with the dust of forgotten years. Every step echoes through these empty halls, a symphony of decay. The silence is profound, broken only by the crunch of plaster under my boots and the frantic beat of my own heart. Light struggles to pierce the grime-caked windows, leaving most of the asylum shrouded in shadow. My flashlight beam feels like a tiny, insignificant weapon against the overwhelming darkness. It dances across peeling wallpaper, overturned gurneys, and doors hanging precariously from rusted hinges. Each room is a frozen tableau of abandonment. You can almost feel the ghosts of the past here, the lingering energy of the thousands of lives that were lived and ended within these walls. It's more than just an abandoned building. It's a museum of misery, and I'm its only visitor. This place, it's a maze of forgotten suffering. Down this corridor, the old administrative wing. The floor is littered with debris. About a bare air tucked away under a collapsed shelf is a metal box. It's rusted shut, but with a bit of effort. It's full of patient files, decades of them, their pages yellowed and brittle, each one a life, condensed into a few lines of cold, clinical text, names, dates, diagnoses. And then I see her file. Evelyn Reed, admitted in 1952. Diagnosis: hysteria. The ink is faded, but the photograph attached is hauntingly clear. A young woman, no older than 20, with eyes that held a fire they couldn't extinguish. There's something about her story, about her face, that calls to me. The official notes are brief, dismissive. They paint a picture of a troubled mind, but as I read on, I get the distinct feeling that the trouble wasn't in her mind, but in the hands of those who were supposed to be caring for her. The file describes Evelyn as prone to flights of fancy and possessing an overactive imagination. It details her treatments: isolation, cold water therapy, sedatives. They saw her spirit, her passion, and called it a disease. As I read, the cold, clinical text fades, and in my mind, the black and white photos bleed into color. I can see her, not as a patient, but as a person. A young woman who loved to paint, who wrote poetry, who dreamed of a life beyond these suffocating walls. I can see the doctors, their faces stern and impassive, dismissing her pleas as symptoms. They locked her away, not to heal her, but to break her. They tried to dim her light, convinced it was a sign of madness. She was trapped, isolated, her voice silenced by a system that refused to listen. She wasn't sick, she was a prisoner. And Tisfile, this thin stack of paper, is the only proof she ever existed. The deeper I go into the asylum, the colder it gets. The main floors were unsettling, but there's a draft coming from somewhere. A set of stairs, hidden behind a collapsed wall in the old infirmary. Tay lead down into the pitch black. The air that rises to meet me is stale and frigid, carrying a metallic scent I can't quite place. This isn't on any of the building plans I studied. It's a secret place. My light cuts through the oppressive dark, revealing a basement. But this isn't for storage. The room is filled with equipment that makes my stomach turn. Restraining tables, archaic electroshock devices, and tools that look more like instruments of torture than of medicine. This was a place of experimentation, a laboratory of pain. And oberere on the damp stone wall. There are scratches, words, a message carved with desperation. It's from Evelyn, her final testament. It's hard to read, scratched into the stone with what must have been her last ounce of strength. She wasn't just a patient. She was a witness, She writes about the head doctor, Dr. Alistair Finch, a man revered in his time, a pioneer of mental health, or so the world thought. But down here, in the dark, he was a monster. Evelyn writes that he was conducting his own private, unsanctioned experiments, testing new, brutal procedures on patients he deemed unreachable. He believed suffering was the key to unlocking the mind. He wasn't trying to cure them. He was using them. Her last words are a plea. Don't let him bury the truth with us. As I finish reading, the air drops another 10 degrees, a bone-deep chill that has nothing to do with the damp basement. And then I hear it. A whisper, faint as the wind, but clear as day. Thank you. I left Blackwood as the sun began to set, clutching Evelyn's file like a sacred text. The whisper in the basement, the sudden chill. I can't explain it, but I don't need to. What I can explain, what I can prove, is the truth of what happened here. The drive back to the city was a blur. All I could see were Evelyn's eyes from that photograph. All I could think about were her words scratched into the stone. My fingers flew across the keyboard, fueled by coffee and a burning sense of duty. I owed it to her. I owed it to all of them. The article went live just after midnight. The buried truth of Blackwood Asylum. It detailed everything. Dr. Finch's experiments, the cover-up, the lives destroyed in the name of progress. I exposed the darkness that had festered in that place for so long. The story spread like wildfire, a digital beacon shining a light on a forgotten history. Blackwood Asylum is no longer just a ghost story. Its victims are no longer just whispers on the wind. Their stories are being heard. Their names are being remembered. Evelyn's name is being remembered. The asylum still stands on that lonely hill, a dark silhouette against the night sky. But tonight, something is different. A single light flickers in a high window. A brief, silent acknowledgement. Then, it goes out. The story is told. They can finally rest. Thank you for watching. If you believe in uncovering hidden truths, subscribe for more investigations into the forgotten corners of our history.